You know that feeling when you finally get something you've worked for? Something that's truly, completely yours? That's what this little cottage was for me. A sanctuary. A fresh start. But just 3 days after I got the keys, the phone rang. It was Kinley, my daughter-in-law. Her voice was an announcement, not a question. "We'll be there in 2 hours," she said. 20 people from my side. You have the space, get the rooms ready. Oh, and food, obviously. My quiet, peaceful home was about to become a family hotel. And they had no idea I'd be charging them. If you've ever felt the sweet taste of vindication after a lifetime of being walked on, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and get ready for a story where justice isn't just served, it's exquisitely crafted, with receipts, notaries, and a chilling sense of calm. Let's dive in. My name is Calvana. I'm a widow, a mother, and for the past 6 years, I've been a ghost in my own son's house. After my husband Roger passed away, Camden had said, "Mom, just until you find your footing." I believed him. I always did. But 6 years later, I was still folding their laundry in their basement, packing their school lunches. They didn't charge rent, a fact Kinley loved to point out, but they collected everything else. My time, my hands, my silence. This cottage, with its lake view and newly tiled bathroom, wasn't just a house. It was a declaration of independence. I'd saved for it the way other women my age save for surgeries or cruises, every last dime. No loans, no co-signers, no shared title. It was mine, fully. But the dynamic with Kinley was an old one. She treated my things like a shared resource. If I baked, she brought it to her book club. If I bought new towels, she'd say, "Oh, good, we needed more." So when her call came, a chill didn't run down my spine. A plan did. I didn't cry, I didn't pace. I just walked to the kitchen drawer, pulled out a yellow notepad, and drew a line down the middle. On one side, I listed the things they expected: food, towels, sleeping arrangements. On the other, the things they wouldn't expect: legal, enforcement, documents, copies. I underlined copies twice. I changed the sheets in the guest room, humming softly. The hum wasn't from contentment. It was from calculation. By the time I fluffed the second pillow, I had already made my first call. The first van pulled up a little before noon. The second arrived 10 minutes later. Then a sedan and more cars. They spilled onto the gravel driveway, a human tsunami of noise and entitlement. I counted them as they piled out, 22 people. Kinley had miscounted, or maybe she hadn't cared. The greetings were loud and uncoordinated. No one hugged me. No one offered congratulations on the new home. One cousin waved vaguely while dragging a rolling suitcase. Someone else opened my fridge without asking. They came with Bluetooth speakers and tangled phone chargers, not casseroles or flowers. The questions started immediately. "What's the Wi-Fi password? You only have one bathroom downstairs? Don't tell me you don't have oat milk?" They moved through my house like they'd been here before, not as guests, but as conquerors. The eldest aunt took the master bedroom without a word. A cousin dropped her bag on the twin bed I'd set up for Camden's future visit. I walked to the small den, the one with the pull-out couch, and quietly gathered my things. No one offered to help. Kinley caught me carrying my folded clothes and gave a sympathetic smile, the kind people wear when they've already made a decision for you. "It's just 2 weeks," she said, her hand resting on my shoulder. "Be flexible." I nodded. Flexibility, I've learned, is only admired when it benefits the person asking for it. I took the smallest room in the house without a word, shut the door, and by nightfall, I had finished revising the contract that no one knew was waiting. Days bled into a blur of spilled grape soda and loud voices. I found a half-empty bottle of sriracha on the dining table and someone's damp flip-flops nearby. The house smelled like takeout and spilled beer. My kitchen knives had been moved. The toilet paper holder was broken. They didn't even try to fix the damage they caused. I stopped asking. I just noted. By day 5, I knew I wasn't waiting for a Venmo transfer. I wasn't waiting for respect either. I stepped onto the porch, which still smelled faintly of artificial grape, and opened the folder I'd tucked beneath the garden gloves. My fingers didn't hesitate. I called the woman's voice I'd spoken to earlier in the week. "Mrs. Marish?" she said. "You ready?" "Yes," I replied, a profound sense of calm washing over me. "I'm done hosting." She asked if I had the papers printed. "Yes," I said. I had 22 neatly printed copies waiting on the dining room buffet, right next to the untouched receipt for all the groceries and supplies I'd bought. By sunrise, I was already up. I taped 2 notices to the front entry: private property and short-term lodging agreement required for all guests. Then I walked to the dining table, cleared away the empty coffee cups, and set out the 22 neatly printed documents. Each one listed the same 3 items: $140 per person per night, all damages billed separately, full deposit required in advance. I placed a pen beside each stack.
Kinley came downstairs in a hoodie that wasn't hers. She glanced at the notices, then at the table. "What is this?" she asked, blinking sleep out of her voice. "A lodging agreement," I said. Her laugh was short, clipped. "Okay, funny." She picked up a page, skimmed it, and looked back at me. "You're serious?" I didn't respond. I just walked to the front door, unlocked it, and stepped aside. He pulled up right on time. Deputy Clem, punctual as always. We'd spoken twice this week, once about the noise complaints, once about occupancy limits for a residential zone. Kinley's face went pale. "You called the police on your own family?" she gasped. I corrected her gently. "No, I called the county office. This is enforcement." Camden appeared in the hallway, rubbing his eyes. He opened his mouth, but didn't speak. He saw the contracts, the printed receipts, the timeline. He knew this wasn't sudden. Deputy Clem cleared his throat. "Everyone here will need to sign the agreement or vacate by this evening." Kinley dropped the paper like it burned her. "You're unbelievable!" I folded my hands. "You're welcome to stay, Kinley, but not for free. Not anymore." One of Kinley's cousins muttered something about an insane old woman. An aunt, Gwen, shouted, "You think you can charge us like some damn Airbnb? You're family!" I turned to face her. "No, you're not. You're Kinley's family. You've never sent me a birthday card, never invited me to anything, and I've spent the last 5 days cleaning up your mess." Camden's face flushed. I watched him chew his cheek, a familiar habit from childhood, a sign he knew he couldn't fix this. I handed Clem a second stack, copies of text messages, printouts of the email I'd sent 2 nights ago that no one had opened, all of it organized, numbered, and flagged. Kinley looked at me like she didn't recognize me. "She really recorded the call," she said to no one in particular. "Yes," I answered plainly. "I did." Silence settled like dust. No one was laughing anymore. The air was thick with the sudden, crushing weight of their entitlement. I walked to the side table, pulled out the deposit forms, and handed them to Clem. He nodded, then looked at the crowd. "Shall I start collecting signatures?" I didn't smile, but I did nod. And when I turned to grab a fresh pen, I heard the sound of someone packing upstairs. By sunset, the driveway was a shuffle of dragging wheels and slammed trunks. Someone knocked over my flower pots on the way out without an apology. One of the younger cousins shouted, "You'll die alone," as they drove away. Kinley stood by the car, her mouth tight. "You made this hostile," she said. "No," I replied calmly. "I just made it clear." Camden got into the car without meeting my eyes. He stared straight ahead. I stood at the gate until their cars disappeared. Then I walked back into my house. No voices, no footsteps, just the profound, restorative silence. I set the clipboard down on the kitchen counter, wiped a dust ring where someone had left a cup, and for the first time in over a week, I sat down at the dining table. I wasn't there to clean or to tally receipts. I was just there to sit. The quiet wasn't empty. It was full of everything they didn't take with them. Dignity, peace, and a space that was finally, completely mine. A few days later, I found an envelope Camden had left behind. It was unsealed with his familiar, careful handwriting. "I hope one day you see how cold this was," it read. That was all. No signature, just that line as if it had the final word. I didn't cry, I didn't crumble. I folded it and slid it into the fireplace. The flame caught quickly. 2 days after the last car pulled away, I met with my lawyer. We updated the deed, not the ownership, but the clause. One line, plain and binding. Inheritance is contingent on demonstrated respect. It's not vengeance, it's structure. It's a map for those who thought my silence meant weakness. Kinley will likely call again. Camden too. They won't understand, not right away. Because when people are used to taking, they misinterpret boundaries for betrayal. But this was never a feud. I'm not fighting. I'm preserving. My house is now quiet. The porch sign reads, "By appointment only." Not out of cruelty, but clarity. I keep the guest room tidy, but I no longer pretend it's available. I cook for one. I use the good cup with the small crack that I always worried someone else would break. Respect doesn't require permission to exist. It just stops waiting for approval. As I closed the folder on the final set of notarized pages, I felt no weight, just certainty. The house is still filled with light. The plants have started to bloom again, and the wind chimes sing when they want to, not when someone forces them. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed or carried out? Let me know in the comments below. If you want more stories of poetic justice and clever comebacks, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, some people just need to be reminded that respect isn't a suggestion, it's a requirement.